battery capacity can handle the load in case power goes back out. This may be coming back up. Power goes back out. 20, you know.
60 seconds.
60 seconds or 15% of battery charge. So we get it back up to 15%.
Right. Exactly. So they'll charge up. The unit will come on. You know, I mean, that way, if you lose power again, you've got some run time to run in here, shut this down, or whatever you've got. Okay.
And that's only if we get to a point where the generator exploded and we ran the battery.
Exactly. And speaking of batteries, also is if this is down for any length of time, okay, what you want to do is you pull all the batteries out to that red line. Okay. Make sure they're unplugged off the bus.
So if you're going to shut them down.
Right, if it's going to be down for an extended, and the reason for that is they'll actually discharge. And if they discharge completely, you've got to purchase new batteries.
So if you were going to take this thing down for a month-long service.
Exactly.
Okay. Pull the batteries out so that they don't discharge, flatline discharge.
This isn't receiving electricity.
Right.
When it's on the bus, there's always a discharge.
What kind of?
Laser lead acid. Sealed.
So if you were going to take it down for a month long,
even not as long as that, a week if it goes down, you want to unplug them because they're just going to continually discharge. Okay. The way the system works is the AC comes in, it's converted to DC, charges the batteries, and it gets rectified back out to your load. That's how we control the load. And basically, yeah. They call it a double conversion is what it is.
And then you get it cleaned up for your power module. So
exactly.
It should be ultra clean power.
Exactly. And that's what I showed the electrician too.
Yep.
So in here, that's what you'll get for your setup, for your shutdown. Default is just going to be manufacturing defaults, which you don't want to do. System is going to be where we had that frequency for the generator. Your alarms are going to be where you're set here. If you want to be alarmed that, like this is set right now for 15 kVA, you may want to change that.
Sure, if it exceeds a 5 kVA.
Exactly. Runtime, if you want to make sure somebody gets an alarm that runtime, because this won't email you. It'll email you when it goes on battery, which is an alarm condition, but it's not going to email you
when you get to a 30-minute runtime.
Exactly. So you may want to know, look.
So if you get down to a 1 hour runtime and send an email, hey, we're going to
exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's some of the stuff we can take a look at.
Right. And again, that's where another thing with the email comes into play, because you can actually log into the card and you can physically look at to see what the runtime is going to be. The parallel redundancy, you don't have any. It's for like a parallel system. There is none. Clock I already set.
Great.
Actually, why didn't it set? I hate the way these things work. You have to go around. And this one's going to be different anyway, so we'll set that. And then in your other is where you'll have your self-test. Okay. So right now it's off. It won't do it automatically. When you do give this a UPS ID, it'll come on in here. The battery capacity you don't need to worry about. Okay.
So you have to, when you do a self-test, you have to enter some information.
If you do a self-test, all you would do is you'd hit enter, okay, and change that to 14 days, 7 days.
Oh, that's an automatic.
Only at power on, right.
Yeah. So it's off.
So you don't, yeah.
Is there any disadvantage to run self-tests? Or?
It takes a while. It's going to take battery. It's going to take runtime away.
It goes on the battery, runs the self-test.
Right. And it runs the batteries down.
So maybe once a year thing we should do, or more often, once a month?
You can do it anytime you want to do it, because you can initiate it manually, even through the web card. The only thing you want to make sure is you don't do it on a stormy day, because your load is critical. So you have to realize your runtime.
Does it bring it down to 50%?
I'm not sure on the runtime. It's yeah, it might be in the book. I'm not exactly sure on these. No, it doesn't discharge completely. It's on for a while. This particular unit runs for quite a while. All the units are able to go through all the testing. They do it in about a minute. So I always say, if you're critically runtime wise on a the ISX will say. You want to be aware that you're going to lose a minute every time it does it. But this one's actually longer, and I'm not sure what the length of time is. If I can find out prior to leaving, you know, if you want. Most people leave it off. But it does exercise the batteries. You've got a generator, which isn't a bad idea. Generator comes on. This isn't going to be on battery very long. It's not a bad idea to exercise the batteries here and there. You know.
Okay.
You know, whatever.
We'll take a look. I'll talk about
Yep.
the rep as well.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably be fine.
Okay.
You know, if power goes out, it's going to go right on battery out of the self-test anyway. You know, anything like that. You can actually cancel it. So if you wanted to actually stop the runtime, what you would do is go back up to your control, and this is the one menu. Let's do the status first. This gives your input voltage, phase to neutral, okay, your output and your bypass voltage. These pretty much stay the same.
Sure.
Okay. Your current. You're very well balanced on this machine, very well balanced. You're only going to have this machine on it, I'm going to assume?
They might add one receptacle, but that would be, you know what I mean, it won't be a whole lot.
Just, yeah, the only thing you want to do is try and keep your phases balanced.
Yep.
The highest current leg is what your percentage is based on, your load percentage. This just gives you what you're drawing kilowatt and kVA.
Yep.
You'll see your frequencies. You got a mains, bypass, and output frequency, so you can see that they're all pretty stable. Your load is right now you're drawing 2.2K off of 15K, so that came up to whatever it was, 20% or something. Your battery voltage, it's always higher for you because it includes your float voltage. So you are at 200 volts. Okay, so it's high. Right now your charge is 79. That'll obviously go to 100%, and then the runtime will adjust. You can already see it's going up. Okay, because that was 156. Right. Battery amp hour is 22 amps. It's all calculated through there, and the UPS temperature, which is an internal temperature. Here's your alarm thresholds again. They're not set, but this is what is already set on the alarm section we did. Now you control. This is where you control the UPS. This is where you can cause shutdowns and stuff like that on your.
Can this be?
Yes, it can. I believe the screen can be. I believe on this one it can be. Is it set up maybe? I didn't see it, you know, I didn't mention it, I didn't really see it. Usually it's under here. Switch status is that. I didn't see it now. It's not in the clock. Did I go back? No. Alarms. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Okay.
Usually you can, and I can look at the manual again.
Just take a look before you leave and see if that could be.
Now you control.
In here, you are in a walkthrough.
Right. No, we have to protect ourselves from our own income.
I mean, it's just as easy going.
Yeah.
It's just as easy going over to the service bypass panel and turning Q2 off. That'll do the same thing. You know.
Like put it on bypass.
All right. So in here you got your UPS into bypass. There's two different ways of doing this bypass since you've got the panel on the wall. You always want to go into your static bypass first. That syncs up your input to your output. Okay? So you'll hit enter. It'll always ask you for a confirmation. Scroll down to yes. Okay? Bypass light comes on. Okay? And now you're in bypass.
And then you can manually.
You can do it from here if you wanted to do a temporary bypass. It tells you what's done, and it's logging all this also. Okay? So what you can do also is you take it back out. It'll tell you that the internal mechanical bypass is open.
An electronic transfer switch in here as well as a mechanical that's a static.
Exactly.
Because that's just throwing a contact.
Right.
And there's internally in the UPS,
You can make
there's
contact.
a static bypass which is
Correct.
less than a tenth of a cycle. So
Yeah, it's
it's instantaneous.
and then this, like I said, if you just wanted to kind of do a temporary.